Over the past decade, heel hooks have become one of the most significant and game-changing submissions in modern submission grappling competition. Historically, heel hooks were utilized by catch wrestlers and sambo practitioners, but they didn't dominate the BJJ scene until recently. The turning point came when Dean Lister opened John Danaher's mind to the importance of leg locks. This revelation led Danaher to delve deep into the mechanics and application of leg locks. Assisted by Eddie Cummins, a physics PhD and BJJ competitor, Danaher refined these techniques, focusing particularly on the heel hook. The Danaher Death Squad, under John's guidance, became the most decorated and feared team in no-gi grappling. Their success was largely due to the mastery of leg attacks, an aspect of submission grappling that had been relatively underdeveloped. By exploiting this gap, the Danaher Death Squad revolutionized the sport, forcing the entire grappling community to adapt and evolve. Today, students around the world are learning and incorporating heel hooks into their game, recognizing the effectiveness and tactical edge they provide. The evolution of heel hooks in the last decade is a testament to the dynamic nature of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and its continual growth as a martial art. For a new practitioner, mastering heel hooks can significantly enhance your submission game, adding a powerful tool to your arsenal which can turn the tide in both training and competition. On the other hand, knowing how to defend against heel hooks is equally critical. As heel hooks become more prevalent in grappling, the ability to prevent these techniques from being used against you is a key aspect of staying competitive and safe on the mats. By learning how to effectively apply and defend heel hooks, you can navigate the complexity of leg locks with confidence, ensuring you're well-rounded and prepared in any situation. Patience is a fundamental virtue when it comes to learning anything, especially techniques that are designed to cause damage. Developing proficiency in such techniques requires careful and deliberate approach. A true mastery comes from repeated practice, understanding the nuances, and learning to apply them safely and effectively. If you can't dedicate even 5 minutes to watching an instructional video, it's unlikely that you'll become a proficient leg locker. Patience in waiting, studying, and drilling technique is crucial. Each minute spent understanding the intricacies of a heel hook or any other submission adds to your overall skill and safety. Impatience can lead to mistakes, which in the case of leg locks can result in serious injuries to your training partners or yourself. Commit to a patient and thorough approach to learning. Invest time in watching instructional videos, attending classes, and practicing under the guidance of an experienced instructor. By doing so, you'll build a solid foundation, ensuring that you can apply techniques effectively and responsibly. Remember, proficiency in any martial art is a marathon, not a sprint. Leg locks, especially heel hooks, are still new in comparison to the core set of submission techniques practiced over the last 100 years, and many practitioners still need to implement and refine these tactics offensively and defensively. A heel hook is a leg lock that targets the knee joint by twisting the foot, putting immense pressure on the ligaments in the knee. It's highly effective and potentially dangerous submission if not applied correctly. Inside heel hooks are when the heel under the tack is close to the body and the knee is out. Outside heel hooks are when the heel is away from the body and the knee is close. Yes, heel hooks can be dangerous because they put a lot of stress on the knee joint. It's crucial to apply them with control and ensure your training partners know how to tap early. Safety should always be your top priority. In Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, every technique that's used to make someone tap carries inherent risks while practicing. The single most important technique for protecting yourself is knowing when to tap. Recognizing the signs of discomfort or uncertainty in any position is crucial. It often indicates a higher likelihood of problematic or dangerous movements. By tapping early, you prevent injuries and ensure a safe and sustainable environment for both yourself and your training partner. Always prioritize safety over stubbornness. Heel hooks work by rotating the foot and applying torque to the knee joint. This rotation causes the ligaments in the knee to stretch and potentially tear if not released in time. Understanding the mechanics helps in both applying and defending the technique. Along with rotational torque, hip pressure like that of an armbar is applied throughout the rotated limb. Think snapping rubber bands that are wound around a stick. To understand heel hooks, it's important to know the anatomy of the knee. During a heel hook, several components of the knee come under significant stress. The primary structures affected include the patella, the kneecap, the meniscus, which is cartilage that cushions the knee joint, the key ligaments such as the LCL, MCL, and PCL. Of course, the ACL. The rotational force applied during a heel hook also impacts the tibia and fibia, the two bones of the lower leg, causing stress at their connection points to the knee. This combined stress on the ligaments, bones, and cartilage can lead to severe injuries if the submission is not properly controlled or if the recipient does not tap in time. Understanding these components and their vulnerabilities is essential for applying and defending heel hooks safely. Isolating the leg in a heel hook is crucial for maintaining control and effectively applying the submission. The isolation is essentially about keeping the leg within your ability to squeeze it and preventing it from moving. allowing you to execute your technique with precision. The isolation typically occurs where the femur and the hips meet, or as close to the hips as possible. This positioning helps prevent the knee from escaping your squeeze. Similar to the mechanics of an armbar, by controlling the leg at this juncture, you limit your opponent's mobility and create the necessary leverage to apply pressure on the knee safely and effectively. While applying an armbar or a knee bar, the limb is totally extended, which makes for obvious comparisons between the two. For a heel hook, the leg should be at a slight bend and allow for a forearm to pass under the heel, balancing your pressure towards the hips, while still maintaining a bend in the leg is crucial for many heel hook finishes. When pressure is applied in this way, kicking with the leg under attack can cause the finish to be applied by the defender, an important lesson in why defensive fundamentals are important. Consider the amplification of pressure. If you hitchhiker escape from an armbar in the wrong direction, you will amplify the pressure on your arm, and heel hooks are no different. Clamping the foot to your body is essential when applying a heel hook to ensure the submission's effectiveness and safety. This clamping action locks the foot in place, creating a secure connection between your body and your opponent's leg. When you initiate rotation and hip flexion, this stable connection ensures that the pressure remains consistent and targeted on the knee joint. Without this crucial step, the applied pressure could dissipate, reducing the effectiveness of the submission and increasing the risk of injury. Properly clamping the foot means integrity of the submission, allowing you to control the movement and apply necessary force to achieve the tap. Heel hooks are primarily categorized into two types, inside and outside heel hooks. The fundamental difference between them lies in the direction of the rotational force applied to the knee joint. However, what often varies is the specific way that the attacker's legs position themselves and isolate the defender's legs to prevent escape routes. On an inside heel hook, the rotational force is applied outwards of the center line of the body. The attacker's legs usually entangle the defender's leg from the outside, creating a tight clamp and using their own legs to block any potential escape routes. In an outside heel hook, the rotational force is applied inward, towards the body. The attacker's legs typically entangle the defender's legs from the inside, ensuring a secure grip and using their legs to control the defender's hip and knee movements. In both variations, the key to successful heel hook lies in effectively isolating the defender's leg and controlling their movements, thereby minimizing the escape routes and maximizing the pressure applied to the knee joint. Deciding whether to keep defending or tap and restart is a critical skill in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, particularly when dealing with heel hooks. Heel hooks are inherently dangerous because they apply pressure on the knee's ligaments. The single most important technique to protect yourself is the tap. If you find yourself pausing to decide whether to tap, it might already be too late to mount an effective defense. At this point, your leg could be too compromised from the stress and the pressure of the submission attempt. Feeling discomfort or uncertainty in a position is often a strong indicator that the likelihood of problematic motions is high. In such cases, tapping early prevents an injury and ensures you can continue training. Always prioritize safety and more reps, and listen to your body. Recognizing the signs of danger early can make the difference between a minor setback and a significant injury. Developing effective habits for defending heel hooks can come in various forms. One effective habit is to target your heel that's under attack towards the hips of the person who's attacking it. When they go to expose your heel, if your heel is at their hips, they can't rotate the heel outward. If it's an inside heel hook, you want to put your leg in the position that they'd want for an outside heel hook. If they're going for an outside heel hook, you'd want to put your leg in the position that you would need for an inside heel hook. Another thing you can do to defend your leg from the beginning is to defend with the leg that is not under attack. So as you're keeping your heel towards their body, your free leg can push their legs away from you. From a top perspective or from more of a wrestling perspective, fighting for wrist and hip control is a good way to start preventing the ability for your opponent to enter into leg lock positions. If their wrists are locked, they can't expose your heel. If their hips are locked, they can't do much to isolate your leg. Sprawling will often disconnect the leg isolation if their hips are twisted from the beginning. Preventing isolation is the best defense. By maintaining good posture and positioning, you can often thwart the opponent's attempts to isolate your leg in the first place. However, if you feel your leg is being isolated and the pressure's building, it's wise to tap early rather than risk injury. Recognizing and addressing the threat of isolation early on is a key to effective defense and long-term safety in training. Playing overly defensive at first to prevent your legs from being isolated will create situations where your opponents have more access to the traditional submission attacks. Luckily, you are more familiar with these, so you can lean on your prerequisite knowledge. Even if you don't feel you have more experience, many practitioners would choose a sore arm over a sore leg. When learning offensive leg locks, one must always be mindful of the inherent risk of reversals. Mistakes in your attack can often result in your own legs becoming overexposed and vulnerable to counterattacks. Leg locks, particularly heel hooks, require precise control and positioning. If your control slips or your technique is flawed, your opponent can exploit these openings and reverse the position, placing your legs in jeopardy. This vulnerability is especially pronounced when the focus shifts solely to the submission without maintaining proper defensive awareness. Understanding and respecting this risk is crucial for any practitioner. When attempting leg locks, always be aware of your own leg positioning and the potential for reversals. Proper drilling and technique refinement is essential to minimize the risks and ensure you maintain control throughout the submission process. By balancing offensive and defensive awareness, you can effectively apply leg locks while protecting yourself from becoming the victim of a counterattack. When it comes to self-defense, heel hooks can be an effective tool. To just sit and enter into leg locks in all self-defense scenarios is not realistic and unlikely. But using this scenario as an example, sometimes you already start on the ground, and it can be a great way to enter in to defend from someone beginning to loom over you and try to strike. Most people are not going to know how to defend from a sweep of our leg attack, let alone a heel hook itself. So even if you want to go for a sweep and now move on top for then basic self-defense principles, leg isolation on a single leg is absolutely a fantastic way to do that. MMA, things do get a lot more complicated considering that practitioners are more skilled in the defense. Mastering heel hooks is a crucial step in becoming a versatile Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioner. We've explored their significance in modern grappling, the mechanics and anatomy involved, and the importance of control and isolation. Understanding the risks, practicing effective defenses, and knowing when to tap are essential for safety. Heel hooks have practical applications in self-defense and MMA when used with precision. Taking the time to study, practice, and refine your skills. Are you willing to invest the effort to master these powerful submissions and elevate your grappling? Train smart, and remember, if you found this guide helpful, like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks.
And remember, the gulf separating the victim from becoming the victimizer is much smaller than most people realize. And don't film it.